Winning your case isn't just our job, it's our mission.
Welcome back to our live qualifying coverage here at New Jersey Motorsports Park for Superbikes at New Jersey and the final race weekend of the 2025 MotoAmerica Championship season. We've already had qualifying sessions wrap up for the morning, so it is time now to turn our attention to Superbikes and their second and final qualifying session. We're going to set the field here for our 3 Superbike races that we have in front of us to wrap up this championship season. That was a good look at Josh Herrin getting himself ready, but here is Cam Beaubier getting himself ready for the final attempt to set the field. It was an interesting day for Cameron yesterday, Roger.
Yeah, this is a huge qualifying for Cam yesterday, having 2 crashes and 2 odd crashes too at that. It looked like he really didn't know what happened. We've seen Sean Dillon Kelly yesterday morning really fast, but he had a crash as well.
Bikes are making their way, the riders making their way to the exit of pit lane. You can see the red flag waving. That means that the session has not started yet, but there's the green one. 30 minutes on the clock here, 30 minutes to put in some lap times to be able to improve their grid position. Looks like everyone was ready this morning. There's Bobby Fong on the number 50, our championship points leader. We'll see what he has this morning as they get up to speed though, Roger. Let's take a look at Thunderbolt Raceway here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Take us around.
Yeah, and it's a track that you have to be aggressive when you make your pass down this speed trap there, 170 mile an hour on these Superbikes. Down into turn 1, up over turn 2, which is really tricky. The bike wants to wheelie up over there, and then 3 ABC. All the way up to turn 4, the bike has to wheelie there. A lot of electronic aid over that little wheelie hill down into turn 5, which is so important. And then the run through turn 6 is fast on these Superbikes down into turn 7. At turn 7, you have to be careful in that long right-hander not to use too much throttle and smoke the rear tire down into turn 9. And then from there all the way to turn 10, starting to grab gears all the way down into turn 12. Such a fast right-hander on these Superbikes leading onto the front straightaway.
Mentioned Bobby Fong as he exited pit lane, being our championship point leader. Let's take a look at the championship points with 3 races still on the line. Bobby Fong has an 8-point advantage over Cameron Beaubier coming into this race weekend. Josh Herrin, who's won 6 races this season, sitting 3rd in the championship point standings, 22 points back.
And for Josh, his first qualifier yesterday afternoon, they had a couple little issues they had to work out, but 8 points for Beaubier, and then Josh Herrin still has a really good shot. But Bobby Fong yesterday looks like he came here to fight this weekend.
Let's take a look back at yesterday in qualifying a session. Here's Cam Beaubier, 8 points back coming into the weekend. You mentioned how weird this was, Roger.
Yeah, and this was on the exit of turn 4. You can see that, just a crash there in a really odd spot. He got up and didn't really know exactly what happened. This was the first qualifier early on. Second crash of the day, another one. Just didn't really look like he was pushing that hard. The front end again just goes out.
It's 19 minutes that Cam was on pit lane. The Tytler Cycle team going to work. They were able to get him back out at the end of that qualifying session. But for Cam Beaubier, the point that you made, Roger, it was so weird not knowing.
Not the top 5. You're going to see a couple new names in there. Jason Urube and Andrew Lee on the Orange Cat BMWs.
That first qualifying session, it was a 1:19.9 for Bobby Fong, the only Superbike rider into the 1:19 range. But we've already seen so far in Super Sport, the session just before this one, Roger, that the track is better, times were falling, and a lot of riders with some opportunity to improve here.
And you asked, how does Beaubier put the crashes behind him? You just try to really work with your team, and you try to talk yourself up, hype yourself up going in, and the big thing is going to be just going out and getting some laps and get that confidence back.
Track temperature's gone up just a couple of degrees. One plate of Josh Herrin, our defending Superbike champion, still inside of the top 3 with 75 points on the line. Anything can happen here this weekend. We saw how quickly riders were able to put strings of race wins together, and with 3 of them here this weekend, another string could be coming.
And one thing you know about Josh, he's going to come out and he's going to bring the fight in all 3 races. He's going to be aggressive early. He's going to put the Ducati up toward the front. He's going to fight as hard as he can. He's one of those guys that never gives up. If there's a little bit of hope, he's going to be out there trying to make it happen.
He led the practice session yesterday morning, Josh Herron did, and then at the very end of that qualifying session was able to provisionally put himself onto the front row. Out there attacking a little bit earlier here in this qualifying session, as you see the number 50 of Bobby Fong, and you can see at the bottom of the screen he's on the best lap of the session so far. See what he is able to improve to as he comes across the line. A 1:20.2 for Bobby Fong, getting closer and closer to that time to beat that he set yesterday at the end of that qualifying session.
That was nice of Bobby. He got in a little bit deeper than he wanted to, kind of put his hand back up to Richie Escalante and just say, hey, sorry, that was definitely a lot closer than I was planning on that to be.
It's a good opportunity for Richie to be behind Bobby early on in this qualifying session, see where that Yamaha is a little bit quicker, see where he can pick up. Richie right now 4th in this qualifying session. Looking at what he did yesterday, much further down the charts, he was in 11th in that first qualifying session. A 1:21.3 was his best time, so he's already been able to improve by about 0.4 of a second here in the early stages of session 2.
Big improvement early on. And to your point, now he's in a perfect opportunity to follow and get better. You can see Bobby there, how far he is up the inside. Look at the rear wheel. You see it's up off the ground, and then now he's got the rear wheel locked up. See the black line he's leaving. He knows he's in way too deep. Richie did a good job looking over there and giving Bobby that spot. That draft, sometimes you get sucked in, and on the Superbike, it is hard to get it slowed down.
As you watch Bobby continuing on through this session, looking over at his lap times, he's not out there to go for pole right now, Roger. So what is the objective that these riders are working through?
I think the big thing is just working on his race pace, going out there and consistently going out on the big run. Yesterday in the first qualifier, he did 18 laps. That was the most of anybody, and they were all consistent. So right now, early on, I'm assuming he's going to go. We seen yesterday was like a, what was it, a 10 or 11 lap run to start the session. So I think you're going to continue to see that today, long runs, and see what's going to happen after you get a lot of laps on the tires and the fuel level starts to get lower.
See Sean Dillon Kelly, at number 40, Visual M4 X-Star Suzuki. His best time yesterday in that first qualifying session was a 1:20.9. He's already improved as well here this morning with just 4 laps being put up. He's down to a 1:20.7.
Be a good lap for Escalante. I think he's going to improve a little bit being behind Bobby. Moves up to 3rd in the session.
1:20.7 for Escalante.
Jason Uribe also inside the top 4 there, improving from yesterday. You see Sean there just getting held up a little bit, showing a little frustration.
So Josh Herron down on pit lane. Looks like he's going to change the visor on that new helmet that he has for this weekend. I do like the camo.
I like it. With the orange too.
I believe he had a hat that looked like that back at Circuit of the Americas. Go back to the racetrack and see Richie continuing to put in the laps. Let's see how consistent he can be in this mid-20 range. Still staying behind Bobby Fong. Jake Gagne is looking like he's on a good lap. You see at the bottom of your screen.
This lap from Gagne is going to put him inside the top 3 if he continues on the back half of this track.
You can see he went red through that first sector better than anybody. Personal best through the second sector as we continue to watch him red again in Sector 3. And here is Jake Gagne. We'll watch him finish out this lap. Jake Gagne across the stripe at a 1:20.2, his best lap of the weekend, able to improve off that 20.4 he put in yesterday. So we are starting to build what will become our front row for the 3 Superbike races here this week. And you go back to pit lane, you see Hayden Gillum. You can hear through the camera mic. He's dealing with some chatter this morning, Roger.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things you focus here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. We've seen on camera some of these tight corners. Some of the places to look for in turns 3, A, B, and C. A lot of front chatter through there. So he's got a new sponsor this weekend too.
Look at that helmet. And for Josh Herring, you can see down in 8th place right now, but what you can see in his body language is that he's not worried about it. Number 50 bike of Bobby Fong, parked on pit lane. So he's looking over at the monitors.
No, I wonder if Bobby started this session with the tire that he ended yesterday morning on. You already see they've already got the rear wheel out of that Yamaha, going to put a fresh rear Dunlop on the back. And then toward the end, we have to remember that they get that qualifying tire as well. So it's something to look forward to also.
Bobby Fong carried one of the Insta360 cameras yesterday. Take a look at this, Roger.
Yeah, I talked about, coming from 170 mile an hour, trying to get it turned down for turn 1. And this corner here is so much fun, but you see how tricky it is. You cannot see on the other side. You have to hit your lines perfectly. And this is where I was talking about the chatter. You can see the front of the bike there with the Akrapovic sticker. See how that's moving around? That's the bike chattering around, not too bad through there. This is that wheelie hill I was talking about. The Superbikes will have some electronic aids to kick in to help out through there. They go through turn 4. This is where Bobier hit his first crash yesterday. See how Bobby goes into turn 5 really far on the left? That's blocking so nobody can pass. Might not be as quick, but nobody's going to be able to go around the outside of Bobby through there. This fast right-hander. And then down into here, such a long right-hander. You follow, you get in. You're on the edge of the tire for so long, and you get to this point, and you kind of pick the bike up, you can see, and just make it like a beeline. And from here, on a Superbike, it's tight and technical. You can see how slow it is. Going to drift up a little bit through here. And then this part of the track is so tough on the Superbike. You go left, right, you're wide open, you're grabbing a couple gears, you're going back left at top speed down into this last corner, a couple more little chatter bumps through there onto the front straightaway.
Great look at New Jersey Motorsports Park. I love those Insta360 shots. And at speed with no traffic, it is a beautiful view of all of the racetracks. We go back live now in this second qualifying session. Bobby Fong back aboard that number 50 Attack Performance Yamaha, ready to go back out and see if he can improve. We know he's got a new rear tire. You see Cameron Bobier out as well, and he's on a personal best lap.
This is a big lap for Cam Bobier.
A 1:20.3 for Cam Bobier, putting himself onto that front row, improving from what he was able to do in that first qualifying session yesterday. Knows he has the pace. Here's Hayden Gillum. We overheard him talking to the team. He was dealing with some chatter. We'll see if they got any of that dialed out.
Yesterday, Bobby was about a 10th off the outright track record. So track temperature's down a little bit this morning. Grip should maybe be up a little bit. It's going to be fun to watch to see if Fong's going to be able to go out and break Bobier's track record from 2020.
See that time to beat from Bobby Fong, a 19.9, that coming in that qualifying session yesterday. Andrew Lee with a good time there, 121. Here's Jake Gagne, quickest of the riders so far this morning, 20.2. His best lap of the weekend. but he's been able to put in a couple laps in that low 120 range now, Roger, so starting to find some consistency.
And that's been the big thing with Jake coming back from the hand issues that he had. He's had the speed. He's had that one lap speed, but it's the strength to go on and do a long Superbike race.
It was great to see him yesterday, able to be up there fighting at the front of the field, to be on the front row, and then to able to come back out today and repeat it. Let's get back down to pit lane with Joe.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm with Ashton Yates here. Slightly longer pit stop for you, it seems. Anything going on out there? How was the track today?
No, it's good. We just threw down a few quick laps there in the beginning, and pretty happy with it. Just throwing on the Q tire a little early on, and see what we can do.
Hey, and of course we're into the final weekend. Ultimate goals for you. What would make it a great New Jersey weekend to finish your season?
We're just going to do our best. We're really strong this weekend, and you know, just going to try to be in the mix with the Superbike guys in the race. That's kind of the goal, and get the best result we can. So have fun.
Excellent. Enjoy the Superbikes.
Great to have Ashton out here for the full season, competing in the Superbike category. He's also competing in that Stock 1000 class. He's a good personality.
Yep.
Big family effort. See his grandpa, Lucky.
His dad was a fast racer as well, so third generation.
Yep. You can see some of the teams there in the background as well, getting ready for the next qualifying session that will be following Superbike. That will be Mission King of the Baggers, as Bobby Fong has gone out with a 1:19.9 on that last lap. It was a 1:19.967, right on the edge of that pole time that he set yesterday.
He's lost a little bit in the second sector, but still, he's still under his personal best, which could be a new record possibly if he finishes up this third and fourth sector strong. We'll see that this last sector there, he's close.
He's close. We hadn't brought it into the conversation just yet. Track record of 1:19.806. It has stood for 5 years, set by Cameron Beaubier back in 2020. Can Bobby Fong get down to it at 19.936 for Bobby Fong? So he's still not right there at that time he set yesterday, but these pieces come together, Roger, and 12 minutes left on the clock. We could see it happen.
Yep, and that was 2 laps in a row, 2:19.9, and he didn't even do his best personal second and third sector, so there he has some time in his back pocket for sure.
There's Cameron Beaubier. Third right now with a 1:20.3. Big improvements for him this morning. It's a great qualifying session so far. When he was out yesterday, Roger, the two weird incidents we've already documented here this morning, he didn't look nearly as comfortable as what he looks right now.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. He kind of looks like the riding style we see out of Beaubier, and I think it's just going to look more and more like that. Every lap he gets, he's going to get more confidence. And you know, when you have a couple crashes like that, you can ride tight. You're kind of expecting a crash, and it looks like Beaubier every lap he's just kind of getting a little bit more relaxed. And also that lap time he did, at least he can see now he's put himself in the fight. Where before, yesterday, he down there as far back as he was, man, it's hard to see yourself in that fight when you're that far off. And Beaubier, 5-time Superbike champion, and that's what champions do. They step up when it matters.
Putting it all behind him. You can see him looking over his shoulder. Not a whole lot of bikes out on the racetrack right now. You can see that on the left-hand side of your screen. A number of them on pit lane. Richie Escalante. See, he just did a 1:20.7 on that last lap. His best lap so far is a 20.7, so he's right there in that race pace range as well, being able to repeat these lap times as we look at Josh Herron. He went his personal best through the first sector of this lap. We'll see what he finishes out with.
You can see the bikes going over the bumps in that last corner, how much it really makes it move around.
He's able to improve to a 20.7. For Josh Herron, still down in the 6th position. Yesterday he was a 120.715, so knocking on the door of his best times of the weekend.
Look at the
What you're
bike.
talking about.
See that? Look at the rear end sliding out too, trying to get all the power down. You can see the bike moving around. I mean, people think these riders just sit on there and twist the throttle. It shows you how much work that they're putting into this, how hard it is to control these big super bikes, even with the electronic aids. You know, that doesn't mean that you just sit on there and it does everything. You're still out there fighting it.
Richie Escalante, another 20. Just under 10 minutes remaining in this final qualifying session. See Cambobier there with the team, back on pit lane. Make a couple more adjustments. Trying to hear, see if we can hear what he's talking about. You can see him looking at the track map that's on the clipboard there. To hear him referencing the tires, so on the right-hand side of your screen, see Jake Gagne getting his gloves on to get back out there. Jake's best time, a 120.2. Finding some improvement from that first qualifying session yesterday. We'll see what he's able to do here in the final run of qualifying for the 2025 championship season. Last little stretch before getting on the bike for Jake Gagne.
He's got the qualifying tire on. It's that time. We're going to see a lot of moving going on the grid.
Ashton Yates on the number 27, also exiting pit lane. You can see Bobby Fong there at the back, number 50, making his way back out to the racetrack. Bobier, see what he can answer with. As he gets back out and the warmer comes off.
This is a tough spot for Bobier. You've had a couple crashes this weekend, a couple weird crashes. Confidence might not be at the highest. And then you put this qualifying tire and you're supposed to go out and throw everything at it.
As they get up to speed, here's your reminder that you can play MotoAmerica for cash here in Superbikes, baggers, and Super Sports. Classes are all now live on the top sports books and DFS platforms. Just scan the flow code on your screen or visit nxtbets.com/playma to see what's available in your location. You can sign up, claim exclusive bonuses, and make your picks now. Betting will close 30 minutes before the start of each of those races, and the odds will reset before we get ready for racing tomorrow. Here are your top 6 odds to win for Superbike Race 1, Roger.
Yeah, you see how tight it is with the top 3 there, with Fong showing incredible pace this weekend. But Sean Dillon Kelly and Jake Gagne, both those two have been inside the top 4 a lot this weekend. So if you're looking for a long shot, Jake might have to help his teammate out a little bit possibly, but Sean Dillon Kelly's not.
No, Jake Gagne certainly has been back in championship form so far this weekend, so he'd be a great long shot there in terms of what you put your money on. It's going to be exciting. 3 races to wrap up this season, and with all the points that are on the line, 3 riders that are still right there ready to grab as many of them as possible. All 3, Bobby Fong, Cambobier, Josh Herron, winning a number of races this season. Bobby Fong and Cambobier each with 5 wins. Josh Herron was able to win 6 of them. So been a really good run in terms of points grabs, but 3 remain. As you see Sean Dillon Kelly, number 40. Came into the season with this program coming together really, really late. But he and his crew chief, Jeremy Toy, they've been able to work together over the course of the season and have some shining moments, some lessons learned, certainly, as he improves to a 120.2 for Sean Dillon Kelly. Here is Bobby Fong, our championship leader, our provisional pole sitter, on another flying lap here. This one would put him in the range of that track record.
He got held up a little bit there in the third sector. We're going to see if it's going to come up. If he lost it, he lost a little bit, but he's still under.
Just a little bit, and clear track in front of him as he comes around that last turn. We'll see at the stripe. Here is the number 50, a 119.7 for Bobby Fong.
Jake Gagne also a 19.7.
We are now into the best times of the weekend for Bobby Fong and Jake Gagne. Ashton Yates, look at Ashton Yates sitting in third right now. He's able to go out and improve to a 20.0.
But look how close he is. He's only less than 3/10 off the pole, which is a track record.
There is Ashton Yates with his head down. Yesterday, his best time was a 121.1, so he's substantially picked up the pace from Q1 to Q2.
Said he wants to get out and fight with the Superbike guys, and he's putting himself in the perfect opportunity to be able to do that.
Bobby Fong, Richie Escalante, still out on track together. See a lot of riders now with just over 3 minutes remaining in this session, putting in their personal best splits. Final chance to see what speed they have. There's a look at Jake Gagne crossing the line. That was a 20.4. Bobby Fong, no improvement there. It was another 119 though for Bobby, so he is able to repeat those laps. Looks like a little bit of frustration.
Yeah. Talk about frustration.
Something is not right for Josh Herron. Let's see what happened though, Roger.
Couldn't really hit it. I don't know if he said break, maybe. I'm not sure. Definitely. I mean, set ninth. You can see why he's frustrated.
Sitting ninth, and there's only 2.5 minutes left on the clock, and he is not out there to take advantage of the track time and try and move himself up. And you know, we've talked about it, that this sets the field not just for the one race that's later on this afternoon. This sets the field for all 3 of the races here for Superbike. And right now, Josh Herron's finding himself outside of the top 3 rows.
Josh yesterday in that qualifier did do a 20.715, so he's right now he's setting 10th in this. Yeah, not much better. But right now, Ashton Yates going to be on the front row. They ends like this for all 3 Superbike races.
All right, Josh is back on the bike. 1 minute and 35 seconds remaining.
It's not going to get a lap, but I guess he can go out and see if whatever the problem is fixed.
Also going to exit pit lane. Won't get a full flying lap. So checkered flag will come out in the next minute. You see Andrew Lee is on a good lap for himself, able to improve up to 7th, a 120.3 for Andrew Lee in Orange Cat Racing's first weekend here in the Superbike class.
And that's going to push Herron back a row and push him down a spot.
Go back to Ashton Yates here on the 27. What a great session for Ashton. You know, when we heard from him in that interview with Joe, he just sounded so calm and so chill, just like he always does, but he certainly has a fighting spirit underneath that helmet and a lot of confidence out here at New Jersey Motorsports Park.
He's going to have a lot more confidence as soon as this session's over as well. If he remains there inside the top 3, that's going to be an incredible performance for Ashton and Honda.
That's a great point. He's been flying the Honda flag for a number of years and competing in Stock 1000, of course, competing here in the Superbike class as well with 2 different bikes. A huge investment for that entire team to be out here at each and every MotoAmerica race weekend and to pay it off here in the final race weekend of the season. It's going to give them a lot of momentum going into the off season and getting themselves ready for 2026. Checker flag is now out for this final qualifying session. Ashton Yates able to stay on the front row for right now. Looking over at timing and scoring, there are a couple of riders that are still putting some personal best sectors together. See if it holds on. I'm looking at the riders right behind him, and I don't know that there's going to be any movement there to knock him off of the front row. Dad Aaron, Grandpa Lucky, everybody on hand here this weekend. Roger, when you have a good qualifying session like this, you go back to the team, and of course you want to celebrate it. Everybody did a great job, all of the work and homework overnight, put them in the position. But how much do you put onto that, and how much do you spend your time getting ready for the racing?
Well, I think for someone like Ashton, who hasn't been on the front row before, you celebrate this. This is a huge accomplishment for them to be in the front row of a Superbike race in dry conditions. But for all the other guys that are fighting for the championship, they're already thinking about the race. And for Cam Beaubier, this was a big session for him. He was only 4/10 off Bobby Fong in this session, but he looked more comfortable. The scary part was Bobby was really consistent. So I think, you really want to qualify well, but the most important thing, the one that pays the points, is the race.
I thought it was a checkered flag. I thought I saw the checkered flag. I did a practice start, and I guess the session was still going. Yeah.
Could hear through that. All right, here's Josh Herron. We saw that frustration as he brought the bike to the team.
Yep. Yep.
Seeing the way he was drifting coming out of that last corner, it was fun to watch.
Practice starts now underway here for the Superbike riders. See Ashton Yates there. Start's going to be important for him now that he has found himself on the front row of the Superbike grid. Look at all the fans that are out in the paddock area. Bring some sunshine out here to New Jersey Motorsports Park, and the fans will come. We see them out here even when it's muddy and raining. See some smoke in the background. Look at the fans sitting in the grandstands as well. Everybody getting ready for our next qualifying session. That will be Mission King of the Baggers. Take a look at our combined qualifying results from yesterday and today. Here is our grid for Superbike. Bobby Fong, our pole sitter, with his teammate Jake Gagne alongside on that front row. And how about Ashton Yates in third?
Hayden Gillum, 2 Hondas inside the top 4. Cam Beaubier, Sean Dillon Kelly. Then we get the Orange Cat BMW 7th and 8th. Richie Escalante 9th. Josh Herron, they're going to be down on the 4th row.
And for Josh, that we saw that frustration being on row number 4, but nearly a second off the pace of Bobby Fong as well. So you can see the team already looking at the data. They're ready to work. Let's get back down to pit lane. Here's Joe.
Thanks, Jamie. I am with our pole sitter and our standings leader. Well, so far it's been a perfect set of riding for you this weekend. Pole position ahead of 3 crucial Superbike races. How does that sit with you?
It's great. It's going to be a long race. This place is pretty physical, and the tires drop off about after like 4 or 5 laps. So it's going to be, whoever's good on used tires by the end of the race. And like I said, it's going to be a dogfight for sure. The times are pretty close out there, so we're excited to get to racing.
And tell me about your emotions, your mentality going into the biggest races of your career, going for your first Superbike championship.
Honestly, we're treating it like every other race. Every race, I give it 100%. Same thing. This is nothing new, and we're gonna give it our all. And no matter what, we just know like we gave it 100%, no matter the outcome.
We noticed you've been practicing your starts a little bit. Tell us what's been going on there.
Yeah, we try to just maximize the starts. Obviously, starts are pretty key for this place because there's not many passing zones. So we want to try to get the lead and try to keep it.
Very best of luck, Bobby. We'll see you out there.
Starts are important. Qualifying, starting position important, Roger. We heard him say it. There's not a lot of passing room here. We've talked a lot about it, so knowing that he's going to lead the field into racing later on this afternoon and again tomorrow, it's going to be good for Bobby. As we take a look at some of the highlights here from this second qualifying session, all the fans on hand, getting ready for, it's going to be a great afternoon of racing. Here's a look again at Superbike. Third place, Ashton Yates.
Ashton Yates, what a great ride for Ashton on that Jones Honda. There on the front row. Now he said he wanted to get in the middle of the Superbike guys, battle with them, and he's put himself in the perfect position to be able to do that.
Look at Jake Gagne, back into Jake Gagne form here this weekend. He's been strong through practice in both of the qualifying sessions. Now he's going to have a starting position right there in the middle of the front row.
Yeah, and he's been consistently putting in more laps this weekend, fast laps. So I think for Jake, he's got to feel pretty good going into the race. But all these guys are chasing this guy again this weekend. Bobby Fong, new outright track record, pole position for 3 Superbike races this weekend.
Carrying that point advantage into racing this afternoon. We'll see what he can do with it. We'll be back for more qualifying right after this.
I'm Jonathan with Motul Performance.